The Democrats have introduced a bill to add 4 more seats to the Supreme Court. I hate to say it, but some of us predicted this. This was predicted long before the election. The Democrats repeatedly accused Trump and the Republicans of packing the court when they added Amy Coney Barrett to the bench. It wasn't court packing. They were completely in their constitutional rights to do that. And their main complaint was they were trying to compare it to when Merrick Garland was put up by Barack Obama, and the Senate that was controlled by the Republicans at the time did not even vote on it. And they're allowed to do that. That's the reason why people voted them in. They voted them in so that they could oppose activist judges, despite Merrick Garland being sort of moderate, but still, that's why we elected these senators, is so that they could oppose activist judges put in place by Barack Obama. Now, let's read this article here from the Daily Mail. It says, the moderate left is gone. Republicans line up to condemn Dems. Plan to introduce a bill to pack Supreme Court with 4 new justices, erasing the GOP majority. House and Senate Democrats will reportedly announce the plan on Thursday, today. The plan will see 4 new justices added to the 9-member Supreme Court. The Constitution does not specify how many justices sit on the court, which is true. When the Supreme Court was first set up, it had 6 justices for the 6 districts, and since the Supreme Court is an appellate court, each district gets their own appeals justice. But it was increased to 10 after the Civil War, and since then we've had 9. So for 150 years or plus years, we've had 9 justices. Right now, the Supreme Court leans conservative, with Trump appointing 3. Republicans warned during the election that the Democrats would try and change it. We did. And repeatedly, when people asked Joe Biden whether he would pack the Supreme Court, he denied it. He kept saying that he would not. There's a really great clip by the Washington Post that shows all the different times where people try to get an answer out of him, and he would not answer.
Are you willing to tell the American people tonight whether or not you will support either ending the filibuster or packing the court?
Whatever position I take on that, that'll become the issue. The issue is the American people should speak. You should go out and vote. They'll know my opinion of court packing when the election is over. Now look, I know it's a great question, and I don't blame you for asking it. But you know, the moment I answer that question, the headline in every one of your papers will be about that. Other than focusing on what's happening now.
Well, sir, don't the voters deserve to know?
No, they don't. I'm not going to play his game. He'd love me to talk about, and I've already said something on court pack. He'd love that to be the discussion instead of what he's doing now. He's about to make a pick in the middle of an election, first time it's ever been done. The only court packing going on right now. It's going on with Republicans packing the court now. It's not constitutional what they're doing.
Why wouldn't he answer, you might ask? Well, it's obvious. People are not in favor of this. Over 50% of Americans are not in favor of increasing the number of justices on the Supreme Court. The basic function of the Supreme Court is to be a nonpartisan, non-biased body to interpret the Constitution and to interpret laws and see if they're constitutional or not. Me being a conservative, biased person, I think that means when they look at the Constitution, they should read it literally. They should not go beyond the Constitution. They should do exactly what it's saying. I mean, this is a long debate between originalists and contextualists. I am an originalist. I think the Supreme Court justices should read strictly to the letter of the Constitution. So when the Second Amendment says that gun rights, you have the right to bear arms, shall not be infringed, it means just that. It shall not be infringed in any way. Now, if they manage to pack the Supreme Court with 4 new justices, it's obvious that they're going to put activist judges that are going to push through their agenda. what could their agenda be? Well, first, the thing that I think would be on the chopping block is the filibuster. The filibuster basically means that the Senate has to have a 60-vote majority on anything in order for it to pass. They want to make it so that it's just a majority. Right now, the Senate is split 50-50 with Kamala Harris being the tiebreaker, and they want to make it so they don't have to work with anybody across the aisle. Once the filibuster is gone, they can basically do anything. They have the executive branch, they have the House, they have the Senate, and they'll have the Supreme Court. This means they can pass further gun restriction. They could add new states. They could have the Green New Deal like they've been pushing for. Or they can change the voting laws. And a big point that a lot of people are making is that this probably won't pass because there are senators like Joe Manchin who would oppose it, Democratic senators like him who would oppose this. But that doesn't really make me feel any better, because the very fact that they're trying to propose this and trying to push this through is scary, and it just shows how evil and how much they hate our institutions and they hate America, and they want to tear everything down so that it's a naked power grab. It's exactly what it is. That's so right there on the screen. Let's go over here to Daily Wire. This article by Ryan Saavedra, sorry if I'm mispronouncing that, has a lot of different quotes from Joe Biden himself talking about court packing. For some reason, he's all of a sudden in favor of this. Probably because he is an empty vessel and the radicals in his party are pushing him along to do things like this. There's another theory that possibly he's just throwing that left-wing, leftist portion of the Democratic Party a bone, similar to what he did with his gun policies that really aren't going to do anything at all. But I mean, here, let's take a look. Says news broke on Wednesday night that the Senate and House Democrats are preparing to unveil legislation as soon as today to pack the Supreme Court with 4 new justices, which left-wing media admits would give Democrats a 7-6 majority. The move comes just days after President Joe Biden created a commission to start to study court packing because he was under pressure from activists. Like I said, when he was a U.S. Senator in 1983, Biden slammed court packing when discussing former Franklin D. Roosevelt's attempts to pack the court in 1937. Joe Biden said President Roosevelt clearly had the right to send the United States Senate and the United States Congress a proposal to pack the court. It was totally within his right to do that. He violated no law. He was legalistically absolutely correct, Biden said. But it was a bonehead idea. It was terrible, terrible mistake to make, and it put in question for an entire decade the independence of the most significant body, including the Congress, in my view. The most significant body in this country, the Supreme Court of the United States. I wonder what's changed. And then more than 2 decades later, while he was still a U.S. Senator, Biden again slammed court packing when discussing FDR's attempted power grab. The Senate again stood firm in 1937 in the court packing attempt. In this particular example, the Senate's resolve is instructive of today's debates. So let me describe in some detail. In the summer of 1937, Roosevelt had just come off a landslide victory over Alf Landon. He had a Congress made up of a solid New Dealers, but the 9 old men of the court were thwarting his agenda. Good for them. In this environment, Roosevelt, and remember, this whole adage about power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. Corrupted by power, in my view, unveiled his court packing plan. He wanted to increase the number of justices to 15, allowing himself to nominate those additional judges. It took an act of courage on the part of his own party, institutionally, to stand up against this power grab. So, I mean, he's been against it in the past, and he refused to answer it on the campaign trail. I really wonder how many people didn't think he would do this, and that's why they voted for him. There's other quotes. Ruth Bader Ginsburg herself was not a fan of court packing. And again, Americans oppose it. Only a small percentage support it. I was listening to a video by Tim Pool today, and he brought up a point. He said that it was really, like I said, originally 6 for 6 districts. And now that we have 13 districts, it kind of makes sense to go from 9 to 13. But the problem is the Democrats, they're not gonna appoint constitutional scholars, people who know the Constitution and are going to follow it strictly. They're going to nominate activists. He also does. Tim Pool also did say that it would be, if they wanted to do this, it could work if they had the Republicans nominate 2 and the Democrats nominate 2, but that's not going to happen. So I mean, this is scary stuff, and I can't see this going well for our country. And I guess I'll just leave it at that.